We've traveled to Tokyo countless times and wanted to incorporate new experiences into our itinerary for this trip. This is how we spent 4 fun-filled days in Tokyo as a family with 2 young kids. The first place we visited upon arrival was Naritasan Sensoji, a temple located close to Narita Airport. This is a great short stop if you're in the area, and it's less crowded than some other temples such as Sensoji. We climbed up a steep flight of stairs and prayed at the temple, where I also got a goshuing, which didn't require any waiting time. Once we were done, we headed over to the Omotesando and had lunch at a little restaurant just opposite the temple. The kids had unagi and I had some tempura and udon. After an hour-long drive, we dropped off our bags at the hotel and headed over to Kidzania. We've been to Kidzania in Dubai, but the process in the Tokyo outlet was different and a little confusing at the beginning. It's mostly run in Japanese, but there are also some English activities, and the staff were mostly able to communicate with my English-speaking kids. There are 2 shifts at Kidzania Tokyo, and our tickets were for the second shift, which runs from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Despite the initial confusion, my kids were able to take part in several jobs, starting with being a firefighter. They got dressed up, got on the fire truck, and went off to put out a fire with actual water. Then we got hungry, so we took a break and got some hot dogs and sides. The next job they did was working at an ice cream store, which required spending some Kidzania currency. They got dressed up for the role, washed their hands, and filled their cones with the soft serve machine. They also had to decorate their own ice cream cones with the provided sprinkles and cookies. Of course, the best part was getting to taste their own sweet creations, and we also greeted the mascot for a quick photo. Their third job was working at Moss Burger, and my little one was so into it. The whole experience from start to finish was about 20 minutes long, but watching his facial expressions throughout the activity was really entertaining. It's also interesting to see how our kids potentially behave in school, and I can see that my older boy is more attentive, whereas my younger boy is more mischievous. This was one of their favorite jobs, and they still talk about their Moss Burger experience 1 month later. They did everything from shredding the lettuce, dipping the patty into the sauce, assembling, and even wrapping up their burgers. We highly recommend the Moss Burger job at Kidzania if your kids like helping out in the kitchen. Again, the best part was getting to eat the burgers they made, and it must have been good because they both finished their entire burgers. The fourth job they took on was working as a petrol station attendant, which was challenging because they don't speak Japanese, but the staff tried their best to explain what needed to be done, and my kids were able to follow the instructions. This job was really cute because they took a photo of our kids and made a little ID card to clip onto their uniforms, which was such a nice little touch. It also served as a cute little extra souvenir from Kidzania. The fifth and final job my kids took on was for the role of a cabin crew member, where they made announcements and performed flight safety demonstrations. My little one was in charge of clearing the trays of food, and they were honestly both so adorable. Then it was time to return to the hotel for some much-needed sleep. For day 2, we headed out of Tokyo and spent the day in Saitama, starting at Kawagoe Hikawa Shrine. There are these white paper dolls used in a ritual known as hitogata nagashi to cleanse oneself and seek purification. You basically transfer your negative energy onto the paper doll and release it into the stream where it's carried away. You can also walk through a tunnel of Emma, which is quite beautiful. This shrine has a unique system for their omikuji, and you can fish for your fortune slips. They cost 300 yen, and it's nice because you get to keep the fish, so it's like an extra souvenir along with your fortune. They also have this sweet potato omikuji. After praying and getting our fortunes, we crossed the road to admire the pinwheels and got a cucumber stick for my little one. We got back on the road towards our next stop, which was about 40 minutes away, but stopped to get some KFC at the drive-thru, which was quite satisfying. We finally made it to Moominvalley Park, but the entrance to the park was still 700 meters away. The weather was good, so it was quite a pleasant stroll and a much-needed breath of fresh air. This place wasn't crowded, which was a nice change because usually when we're in the Tokyo area, we end up at Disneyland and the crowd there is not for the faint-hearted. There is a cat exhibit at the Hyper Museum which we passed on the way to the entrance of Moominvalley Park. My son loves cats, so is it a coincidence that he shares the same name as the artist of this exhibit? As we continued to walk along the path, we saw a couple of shops, some photo ops, and lots of nature before finally arriving at the main entrance of Moominvalley Park. The kids were somehow excited about this place even though they have no clue what Moominvalley is, but they were happy and that's all that matters. There was an ongoing umbrella display when we visited in June, which was supposed to run until July, but was extended to September. So if you're in the area before September, you still have time to experience this beautiful display. There is a play area within the park, and that was our next stop, but it required walking up this slope, and it was kind of exhausting. Nevertheless, we trudged on and the kids had lots of fun playing here in this treehouse-themed playground. There were other kids playing as well, but it was by no means crowded, so my boys got to do everything they wanted without having to wait too long for their turn. The sky was starting to get dark and it looked like it was going to rain, so we quickly had to go on the swings before walking down the slopes. There were a couple of shows we could watch, so we picked the pirate ship one not knowing anything about what to expect, but it was actually quite nice and we got sprinkled with some water which the boys loved. After that, we made the drive back to our hotel in Tokyo and walked to Aqua City. We really love the Odaiba area of Tokyo, which we find to be very family-friendly. We got a family caricature done and had some ramen for dinner where I got the Sapporo miso ramen, which is my go-to flavor, and it was really good. And that was pretty much the end of day 2. After a quick breakfast, we headed over to Asakusa to visit Sensoji. It was the weekend, so it was super crowded, but we prayed and got a goshuin, which had a bit of a line but didn't take too long. On the way back to the car, my kids got to play this omikuji at one of the shops. They got the smallest prize, but they got to choose which plushie they wanted, and Joji ended up with a white dog while Kenji chose the cat plush. Our next stop was Yomiuriland, which is a pretty old theme park and not as popular as Tokyo Disney Resort. Compared to Disney, this theme park was not crowded at all and we were able to get on a bunch of rides with minimal wait times. It was also super kid-friendly and my kids were able to enjoy most of the rides available here, which made it a great experience for the whole family. Another great thing about this place is the short lines, so my kids were able to go on this ride multiple times back to back. There are also a few slightly more thrilling rides geared towards older guests, so there was a nice balance here and we really enjoyed our time at this theme park. We then had dinner at Diver City and spent about an hour at Round 1 before calling it a night. The main attraction for day 4 was the Warner Brothers Studio Tour. They were celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Goblet of Fire, so there were a few extra things to see and an exclusive gift for newsletter subscribers available until the 8th of September. I've been to the one in London many years ago, but it was my first time at the Tokyo one, and I had just introduced the world of Harry Potter to my kids, so it was exciting to share this experience with them. There were a few things I don't remember from the one in London, such as this grand staircase portrait interactive experience. I loved how this was free of charge and we even get to keep the video without having to pay for them, which was such a nice touch. Besides the grand staircase, we could also film ourselves watching a Quidditch match, and of course we got to see some of the props from the films. There was even an area where we could conjure a Patronus charm and I really loved how interactive everything was. We enjoyed some popcorn and butterbeer at the halfway point, and it came with a souvenir mug which we could take home with us. After our quick break, we continued the tour by exploring the Hogwarts Bridge and chessboard. We also explored number 4 Privet Drive before heading in to view the Hogwarts Express. There was also a small Fantastic Beasts section. We then took the Flu Network to the Ministry of Magic. This interaction was also free of charge and made for such a great souvenir video. I love how it comes with audio too. The next interactive experience was not free of charge, but we bought the videos of us on the broomstick. I'm not showing the full video since they're a minute long each, but it was Goblet of Fire themed and we had so much fun filming this. Finally, we walked through Diagon Alley, which is pretty much the same as the one in London. Overall, we spent a full 4 hours here and it was really nice to be able to share this experience with my kids. After that, we had sushi for dinner, which was cheap and good. We had sushi for breakfast the following day before heading towards the airport to catch our flight home, and that was the end of our short trip. Thanks for watching!